Okay, so while the best K-pop songs of 2025 video is in the editing process, the research is finally complete after days of listening to songs, I decided to make more other content related to commentary. This was originally gonna be a take in my K-pop takes video, but I thought that why not make it its own video. So, for this video I'm gonna be talking about reasons why Nugus may not get more fans, or whatever is a good title, and this video is just me listing down whatever I think in proper organization would affect groups getting more fans. The first section that I'm gonna talk about is related to K-pop stans promoting a Nugu group hoping people would give them a listen and stan them. The first reason related to K-pop stans promoting a group is sound differences. Let's look at an example of Nugu Promoter, which is an account on different social media platforms, probably run by more than one person, where they focus themselves on promoting Nugu female artists, and since Nugu Promoter is known, there are artists who have gotten more recognition through them, which is great. Looking back at Nugu Promoter, the people following them are most definitely K-pop stans first and not necessarily other genres of Korean music listeners. And these K-pop stans mainly listen to mainstream K-pop music compared to other genres. That's what I see, even if those genres also have K-pop songs, so some of the artists that Nugu Promoter promotes, like Arn for example who I discovered through Nugu Promoter, won't necessarily get more noticed by K-pop stans to get more listeners, and it's not because her music is bad, it's mainly to do with the fact that people who like chill, light and airy aesthetic music would like her music. That's what I think her music sounds like.
To see you in my dream.
Her music is not for everyone, and there are people who'd check out her music and think of it as boring, and that's because her music is for chill music listeners. That's why I like her music. But if you compare Arn to an artist like The Deep, also has been promoted by Nugu Promoter. Arn has about 20,000 plus monthly listeners compared to The Deep who is currently at 100,000 plus monthly listeners. And I think it's mainly to do with the fact that The Deep has that mainstream sound, meaning what mainstream groups might do as a sound, that K-pop stans are adapted to with a lot of her tracks. And that I think that's what shot her monthly listeners up compared to Arn, for which maybe people just haven't properly settled into Arn's music to fully give her a chance, who knows. But I do think in general, that despite K-pop having different sounds in different genres for B-sides and stuff that caters to all sorts of music listeners, an artist who has music K-pop stans would more go for, would be a Nugu artist that makes mainstream music. Music like Arn's only works to get her more noticed, I believe, for those genre fans, as I said, because her type of sound isn't really trendy music to go viral or get more noticed by people, and it's more so for maybe chill cafe vibes, for calm after a stressful day, for background music when you study, etc. If you look at when a Nugu or less popular group goes viral, or even if a B-side from a popular group goes viral, it's not different from what K-pop stans are used to when listening to K-pop, and so it's not something K-pop stans will have to adjust to as listeners since these types of songs are in their music listening rotation cycle, I'd like to think. Also, there are other reasons for artists to go viral, but I'm mostly talking about the music aspect here. Another reason that I think Nugu artists despite being promoted won't get noticed is because of their music quality and lack of talent. There are lots of Nugu artists who I realistically believe will never get more fans, because their music is low quality or they themselves as artists are not really talented. These artists are just people where they don't make good quality music at all, which of course puts off music listeners who'd label the group as cheap, and K-pop stans already do that with Nugu MVs, and so the low quality won't help even more if the group debuts under a lower budgeted company having not only a poor looking MV, but a badly produced and mixed song. People won't stan you if your music is bad paired with your singing mixed in poorly. There's also not having talent and even getting a better company for quality, they won't get noticed more because it won't help their lack of talent even if their music may get better. Yes, I know that there are groups who are known and popular who have members with lack of talent, and the group has bad music, but that's mainly to do with their companies who originally are known enough that the group gets a head start in terms of gaining popularity and easier success. Another reason of promoting a group but they won't necessarily get more fans is related to the group itself. This is the opposite of the point where I said they're talentless and have low quality music, but even if you have talent or good music, it doesn't translate to more fans, because while there might be a viral moment, that would be one moment of a few seconds of fame until it's not viral anymore. There are idols that I know are talented, and deserve their due praise but they never got it, and it could be the fact that their company isn't well known, even if the company is good enough to keep the group standing. Also, if we look at an example of the boy group BDU, who I don't remember when they debuted, I believe it was 2023. But they were formed on the survival show Build Up, which was done I believe by Mnet, who is popular. What made the show worth checking out, giving the group fans instantly, was the fact that the show focused on finding vocal talent, something which in current K-pop is what K-pop stans talk about a lot. Also, the show included popular and known people like Mamamoo Solar, Red Velvet's Wendy and Becco from Nugus as some of the judges too, amongst other no judges who I don't remember the names of. Also, the end result produced a group who are all adults, which K-pop stans also talk about a lot, and a group with a debut mini of 4 songs plus a Christmas song, as far as I know, where all of them seem to be different songs in terms of sound, which K-pop stans also talked a lot about, going back to the 2022 hatred of boy groups to uplift girl groups where they thought girl groups were more diverse. There were so many reasons for BDU to be getting fans and more of them, but it sadly didn't translate to them being popular, because they're Nugu, as far as I can see. So even being the perfect group, it doesn't automatically mean fandom growth. Another reason also exists that despite being promoted, Nugu artists won't get more noticed because of timing, and sometimes there'll be a perfect moment the artist promoted can get popular, like maybe they did a popular music trend but fell under the radar until they were promoted, for example, but other times it's just random. So there's no fixed reason an artist promoted could gets noticed. Some artists getting noticed, going viral or getting popularity is also purely by accident. If you look at viral songs, especially ones viral through social media, some are just viral for the most random reasons, but that virality doesn't stay and these artists could fall back down again if they don't try to keep their virality afloat to a full artist than a one-hit wonder, which only comes through innovation and trying to figure out what is a guaranteed hit. Trying to emulate the success of the previous song won't. Another reason Nugu groups may not get fans even when promoted, is that when most people promote these groups, they're mainly promoting the same few groups to the same few stans who already know these groups to begin with, and so these groups are not even getting promoted to a wider audience far from just the Nugu stans. Also, some of these groups promoted as Nugu by K-pop stans are not even Nugu to begin with but get treated as such, which shows that these K-pop stans never truly want them to reach mainstream heights and become popular, which holds these groups back from ever getting further in terms of noticeability even if they're doing well for themselves. And it definitely does hold them back, because how is a group gonna get more fans if the group, for example, Purple Kiss, who debuted in 2021, where up until their disbandment have seen people call Purple Kiss Nugu despite them being way beyond Nugudom because they've did quite well for themselves, not popular yet, I believe, so I would classify them as mid-tier and not Nugu at all. These K-pop stans, talking about the 99.9% of so-called Nugu supporters here, are not real Nugu K-pop stans, because Nugu groups to them are just for the aesthetics, because where's the support for the real Nugus that truly need fans? At least then, even if it circulates around the same fans, it'll be a new Nugu group in circulation. Who truly needs more fans are groups who get stuck in the basement because y'all are fake, since they're not from a bigger label enough to come onto your radar once they debut for you to be like, please support them. Your Nugu support, as I said before, is only if they're not cheap, which makes it another reason to be talked about in this very point, where real Nugus will stay never getting more fans because so-called Nugu K-pop stans don't really care about them to wanna go look for them, and when these groups do somehow maybe get noticed, it's due to something negative. People promoting the same few groups as Nugu literally only get seen by K-pop stans already following the group, so it's like you're just talking to your close friends on a group chat, which is pointless, because if your goal is truly to promote these groups for people to check out, then why are you not doing that? These groups are not getting fans because you promote it to someone else who is watching your video already knowing the group, and that same someone who is watching the video is also someone who is probably promoting that same group to someone else, and one of those someone else is you, because you're watching their video as well. In reality, it's just a back and forth conversation. And while these groups are still getting fans through their own hard work and company, your work doesn't bring them any fans beyond what they already have. You do nothing for the group for which they already do for themselves. The next section is about companies trying to do things maybe for success and how it doesn't necessarily work. The first reason for companies chasing success is hopping on music trends, like for example in 2020 with some songs in 2021 when the retro trend was huge and we had popular groups like Everglow's La Di Da and Nugu groups like ICU's Look at Me, but while Everglow's song was a smash hit, mainly because they were already popular prior, ICU's song didn't really help them more, IDK if they, ICU were chasing a trend or not. As I mentioned in the previous section that it's timing, and that virality happens randomly and it is true, but there are also moments where at the right time, right place, right everything it still doesn't help, because even with a company backing it won't necessarily mean that you're gonna get successful, but that also doesn't mean that your chances for success are in the gutter. Hopping on a trend doesn't help you as an artist if you're gonna just be another one making the music trend overdone and boring without bringing some new flavor to it to show that you're not just hopping on a trend because it's a trend and hoping for the best. Another reason for companies chasing success is when they label themselves something, or do something that might get people's attention but also in a wrong way. Like for example, I saw an article that was talking about blitzers, this was when they were close to debuting I think, and the title had the words, the next BTS. Alongside other things. One part in the starting of the article ending with, hoping to become the next BTS. Also, IDK if this was themselves or their company saying it, or that article saying it, but in general if a group does this, then what do you mean by, next BTS? Why are you chasing after a group's success and the two of someone so worldwide popular? If someone is labeling themselves the next BTS or the next Blackpink for example, it's dumb because y'all need to be finding your own sound instead of trying to be like others. Also, it'll lead you guys to get attention and get hate from fans of said groups y'all are trying to be like, and also y'all will be setting yourselves up for failure because y'all are setting expectations so high for yourselves. In the end, that won't help you gain more fans, but rather lose it because y'all will be getting backlash, hate and such that y'all might end up going silent and then disbanding. Even with y'all doing other things apart from this, like something that makes you stand out which could either be the greatest thing you've done as a group making people see something cool and unique that you as a group can do, or it can be your downfall if it's something so crazy and wild that you get cancelled for it. Another reason for companies chasing success is also related to virality, trend hopping, where say the group does get virality due to some reason as a Nugu group. It's great and it will get people to notice them, but not capitalizing, or not being able to capitalize on the virality will not help the group if the company is a smaller label who can't do much to capitalize on it. So while the virality is amazing to happen, how many fans do end up staying to remain fans instead of just being K-pop stans who just go wherever there's a new trend? This doesn't help the group at all because there are a lot of Nugu groups who make one song and possibly a B-side when they release music, and they take months or even a year or two before they release a new song again, because the company only had enough of a budget to make a release and stuff related to that, some few promotions. Making more than one release isn't cheap, especially when it comes to production, a music video, promotions, etc. So, these groups going viral have more of a chance of being one-hit wonders than actually trying to keep their virality consistent to turn them into a fully popular established group. Another reason for companies trying to chase success is a group's sound being what's popular and trendy. Similar to the trend hopping point, groups who copy trends, copy others and such instead of trying to find their own sound. They will not get more fans this way if their music is just doing what's popular, because doing what's popular comes with a price, since that sound could be something people are tired of seeing, like in 2022 for example, where many K-pop stans hated boy groups for doing dark noise music and thinking they only did that one type of sound, and amongst this unnecessary hate there could have been 1 to 2 fans who genuinely hated this. Trend groups don't have longevity if they're not being creative, finding what they do better than others and building their sound on that thing. Trying to do a new trendy sound may not work in the group's favor if each new trend is different, which would be awkward when the group is not able to pull off all the trends because they're not diverse at all. And it also applies to another point I will add to this part, which is concept changes. If a group does one concept and type of vibe well, like they're good at concepts requiring to be happy, cheery and cute. Switching to a concept where they become dark baddie won't work if it's something they've never done before or only some members fit it and not all, and all their facial expressions with the song, them emulating it with the vocals and everything to do with the song flops, which won't help them get more fans if they end up sticking to the new concept change which they can't pull off. Another reason for companies trying to chase success is finding their own sound. And while finding your own sound as a group is good because you can build your identity off of that, it also becomes your downfall if you try to be too different, experimental and such that in the end the output is just messy, because your idea may have been great but the execution flopped. On paper there's plenty of things that sound good but should never see the light of day. There's also how the song will be perceived by fans. Looking at NMIX for example, when they debuted with OO in 2022 under something known as Mix Pop, it was dubbed the worst debut. You wouldn't want your group to debut with something so different that you'd regret ever releasing it in the first place. People won't stan at all, and your careers will end before it even starts. It's also worse if you're a group under a Nugu company if that Nugu company is a low production quality one, who can't produce a good quality song which would make the song come out even more painful to the ears and it'll not get anyone to wanna listen, maybe 1 to 2 people who don't care about music at all and listen to anything, but in general the masses will hate it. Somehow it might get noticeability, but for all the wrong reasons and then the unnecessary hate will come along, with K-pop stans also going as far as to hate on the idol's looks, talents and other such things, which then ends the group's career. Different is good, but only if you know how to be different without overdoing it. The next section, which is the last section, is related to companies not doing anything. K-pop groups debuting under small labels who are Nugu and remain Nugu throughout their career don't get more fans if they're a group who debuts with a song, and possibly a B-side along with it, and besides that they're not making much other content, like posting more on YouTube, posting images and reels on Instagram, posting on TikTok and other such things that might help get the group more fans. If people check out whatever little music the Nugu groups have, and wanna stan them more outside of the music because the music is so good, since that's how stanning is, because people also wanna get to know the group, how are they gonna stan if the company doesn't really post often of the group on any socials? This may lead fans to think that they may have silently disbanded, since that's how Nugus have disbanded at times, even if the groups haven't disbanded and will post again randomly on occasion, but it's not a wild thought to have, if the group hasn't been active on any social media much, which is not right. I understand how hard it is for Nugu companies financially, but it's not hard for groups to pick up their phones and record fun content, like doing viral trends and uploading it to TikTok and Instagram, or posting vlog content, or even posting group or solo member selfies and pictures. Even purchasing a cheap camera for everyday use can be helpful, because I believe there are a lot of budget-friendly cameras that can do a good job of recording, because technology is advancing so much, and the group can use it for recording fun content, like doing fun challenges, ASMR content, mukbangs, or literally anything that is just content in general, so we can have something of the group even if it doesn't have an English subs for international fans to follow. Any sort of content would be good for stans, and lack thereof won't help the group gain more fans if there's nothing besides a small few Instagram pictures, 1 to 2 songs, a possible music video, some live performances anywhere, music stages or anywhere else, but that's possibly lip-synced, and that's it. How are we gonna learn more about the members through that? Plus, why is the group even active if they're not posting their daily happenings as a group? That's basically what you do besides music. The group also becomes less stan-worthy then too, because they end up disbanding pretty soon, leaving fans who already stan, or new fans who have stumbled upon the group only to realize they've disbanded to have nothing much to remember the group by, if there was nothing really there in the first place for stans to rewatch over and over. Also, if that same company debuts a new group that ends up being just again having music that makes them stan-worthy, the fans cannot be so sure if the company is actually gonna try with this new group or not, so fans may become hesitant to stan and further promote them because they might end up disbanding like the previous group due to inactivity. In the end, groups may not get more fans because it's simply impossible for every group to be successful, and that's about it. The K-pop industry is too large with so many groups, and nobody without getting a migraine can keep up with everyone, and it's not to do with the group being bad, which is one reason that I mentioned in the video, but also to do with the other factors mentioned in the video as well that doesn't necessarily give the group more fans. Some already get fans beforehand due to their company name, some don't but work their way to the top, and some just get stuck in Nugudum up until disbanded, and it's sad, but in the end that's just what happens.